Thanks for tuning in to the Debbie and Kim Show.
Real people, real talk.
From challenges to wisdom, conversations that heal, inspire, and empower. I am so excited today.
Me too.
So excited.
Yes.
The guest we have coming on today, I met her at the Queen Creek Chamber of Commerce. I think I said that correctly. And from the moment I met her, I could tell that she was a dynamic woman and I wanted to stay in touch with her. So
Same here.
Kim's gonna read her bio, but she's outstanding. The information and the wisdom that she has, you guys will really, really enjoy it.
You are truly in for a treat. So Patricia comes to us with she's a licensed professional therapist, professional counselor. I'm so sorry. Licensed in Arizona, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. And she has helped so many people in so many places. And we're just excited. And we don't want to, without further ado, we want you to be able to hear directly from her. And so please help me welcome Patricia Taylor, P.
Taylor Consulting.
Thank you.
Why is it?
Hello,
Yeah,
ladies. Hello.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, that intro. Oh my gosh. I'm like, who is she talking about? Is that me? Are you talking about me? I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm
So
really excited
welcome.
to talk about the topics today.
Yeah. Again, when I met you, I said, this is a powerful woman. We need to get in contact. We need to stay in contact. We need to let as many people as we can know about her and what she does and how she helps individuals in our area.
And I'm excited to hear you, and I want you to talk after I shut up. How your mental fest, mental health fest. Is that right?
Yeah.
Came about.
Yep, mental health fest.
But you can talk about whatever you want because you work with people all the time. You know what is going on.
Yeah. Well, I've listened to your show on the Zoom, and I really, really appreciate being in this space because it's all about mind, body wellness. It's about community. It's about mental health. It's about healing. And Kim, you and Debbie have provided that space for people to listen and learn. So I feel privileged and really blessed to be here today, talking about, something that's so close to our hearts, and that's mental health and wellness. And Kim, you were a vendor at our mental health fest that we had in May. So as we know that May is Mental Health Month, we were fortunate enough to have May named as Mental Health Awareness Month in the town of Queen Creek this year. So that was a big feat for us because it's named that all over nationwide, but in Queen Creek we were able to have that proclamation. And so, that proclamation just gave us the opportunity and, the permission to go ahead and celebrate mental health and wellness. And we had our first mental health fest. So I appreciate you being there. Yeah. And so we have vendors from all walks of life, mind, body wellness vendors, mental health vendors. We had spas. We just had all types of mental health vendors, mind and body wellness vendors. And so we're looking to have it again next year. So
yes.
Great.
Well, what I loved is you had, I don't remember the name of the group, but they had us up dancing and moving. And a lot of times that is what helps. If you're in a funk, sometimes you need to turn some music on and you need to dance.
Absolutely.
Patricia really had someone from every facet of mental health there to talk to individuals and help them ease some of the pressures that they're going through.
Well, and it's really comprehensive. And Kim, I know that you work with holistic health because we know that, like you said, Debbie, moving around, that helps us get out of our heads and into our bodies. And that's healing. We also had a who else did we have? We had actually we had a line dancer, we had a few other groups for dancing, we had a magician to help with the
Yes.
kids, to help them laugh. We had someone doing chair yoga. So it was really extensive of the services and the people that we had in the building. So I'm glad you liked
It
it.
really
I'm glad you
was.
liked
Yeah,
it.
and there was
Something for
also,
everyone.
right, when you talk about the children, there was also another
Yeah.
organization there that focused that you had brought in to make individuals aware of what our young people are going through, not the
Yeah.
teenagers, but some of the
Yeah.
adolescents and some of the
Mhm.
elementary students. So you
Yes.
had that in there as well. So that was
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
beneficial.
Yeah, because they go through
So
things
tell
too.
us,
They may not have the
yeah,
words. They
They
may not
do.
have the
Oh my
words, but they go
goodness.
through that too. So I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'll be quiet.
No, no,
Oh
no,
no,
no. I
don't.
want you.
We
I
want to
was,
hear you talk.
yeah,
In
I was
fact,
getting
I
ready.
have a question for you.
We always talk
Okay.
over each
So,
other, so we work very hard to kind of like give ourselves clues. So I'm going to speak.
I
Yeah.
question for you. What
Yeah.
is the biggest thing that you see in this setting, or
Hmm.
with your patients, or with your
Yeah.
your clients, that
Hmm.
you can speak to people to just kind of give them something that they can do to
Yeah.
prevent them from getting to that place, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really glad you asked that question today. It's very timely because we are up on the holidays. The
Yes.
holidays are right around the corner. And so that brings about a lot of stress. And I've actually seen that in the few sessions that I've had lately here. There's a lot of stress going on with financial stress, political stress. We do know that the holidays, that's a trigger for a lot of people for their depression. There's a lot of loss. People have experienced loss. And so, you think about your loved ones not being around for the holidays. And so I would say that's the biggest thing that I've seen lately. Um, you know, People come for all sorts of reasons, for anxiety, for adjustment disorder, grief. But I would say quite recently, I've seen a lot of patients who are dealing with holiday stressors. And I'm glad to be here talking about that because there's a stigma there's a stigma. So today I want to talk about, specifically three things: stress, depression, and suicide. Now, suicide,
Mm.
that kind of hits hard and it's a very sensitive topic. But I would be remiss if I didn't talk about it because around the holidays, we see an increase of people who want to die by suicide. And so,
Yeah.
again, I'm just happy to have this space to be able to talk about that today. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen recently.
It
Cool. So,
absolutely needs
yeah,
to be talked
yes,
about.
it definitely needs to
Yeah.
talk about. I guess my question is
Mhm.
how do you see the signs? Are there signs that an individual might be considering that, or the young person might be considering to take their life?
Yeah, so there
Is there
there are
anything that
always yeah, there are always signs. When we've lost someone by suicide, we oftentimes think, I didn't see that, I didn't notice that, or something comes to our mind where, oh, okay, they exhibited that behavior or they were withdrawn. But there are always signs, and I'm glad you asked that. First of all, I want to give out a few resources, if that's okay.
oh,
So
that's
the
Please.
perfect,
suicide prevention
perfect.
the suicide prevention helpline is 988. And actually, I have a little card here. I'll just hold that up. It's 988. So if anybody is, suffering or having any thoughts of wanting to die by suicide, they should dial 988 and they can talk to a professional to help them through that. But you have mentioned signs and symptoms. Um, so basically, like I said, there's always signs, but we may not always see them. So if you hear somebody talking about suicide or making plans for suicide, obviously that's a red flag, a big red flag. If someone is expressing hopelessness about the future, that's another sign. Displaying severe or overwhelming emotional pain or distress, that's a sign. They just don't seem like themselves lately. They're withdrawn. They don't enjoy doing things that they previously enjoyed. Those are some of the signs and symptoms to look out for. Showing worrisome changes in behavior, particularly in combination with the warning signs that I just mentioned above. So again, being withdrawn from changing social habits, connections, situations, not wanting to, do things that they previously enjoyed, not wanting to go to the grocery store or go hang out with their friends, or not wanting to accept phone calls from family members. If you text them, they wait days and days before texting back. So yeah, those are some of the signs and symptoms that you want to look out for. Another sign or symptom that we overlook is anger or hostility.
Mm,
Okay. Oftentimes when we express anger or hostility, it's because we're hurting. There's pain inside, and anger or hostility it's the quickest emotion or the quickest expression of an emotion. Oftentimes that we I don't know that we go to.
mhm,
So,
mhm.
if you notice someone is particularly angry all the
Agree.
time, more frequently than not, then that may be a sign that they're reaching out for help. Now, some of those signs and symptoms that I talked about also are signs and symptoms of depression as well. So you may
Mhm.
not have someone who's contemplating wanting to die by suicide, but they may be just depressed. And again, we see a lot of situational and holiday depression going on right now as well. So that was a great question, though. A really great
So I,
question.
I I have one other question that I want to add on
I
to
ha-
that.
right,
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to
Mhm.
piggyback on is is it concerning when they have been depressed and or they have been angry or all these symptoms, and then all of a sudden they are now all of a sudden happy? And could that be like a sign or an indication that they may have decided that they're going
Oh,
to follow through with, like you said, with a plan of dying by
yeah,
suicide?
it could be. It could be. So if you notice an extreme change in behavior, talk to them, ask them about it. You know, again, it's a very sensitive topic, but
Mhm.
we have
Yes.
language around it. I didn't bring the language today, but there's language that you can specifically use to talk to someone who you think might be contemplating suicide. Sometimes we're afraid to ask the question because, again, it's a sensitive topic, but you
Yes.
want to save the life of the person that you love or the person that you know or the person that you're concerned with. So it's okay to ask them, how are you feeling today? You know, um, what's going on in your life? you
Mhm.
know do you want to talk to someone? you know are you feeling like you want to do something drastic? Are you feeling like that you want to die by suicide? Again, it's not a comfortable topic, but it's something that we must talk about.
Must talk
And
about it. Yes.
let's talk about it. So let's talk about some statistics. Okay. So these statistics are going to be a little bit different than what you've probably heard before, but those statistics you can are we doing okay?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't let her
Okay.
ask her question, and so I
That no, that's quite all
Oh,
right
okay,
because
okay,
I still
okay.
remember. I'll
I
still
can't
remember it. Go ahead and let's talk about the
okay, I can't
statistics.
quite see
Yes.
your faces, and I'm trained to like look. I didn't know if someone was breaking down or something. I just want to be sensitive to everyone's
Uh,
needs.
no, if
So
I was
these
breaking down, you'd
statistics
know about it. Yeah, it's
yeah,
ugly
okay,
cry.
okay,
So if I break down, it's
okay.
ugly.
And that's okay too. That's okay too. So statistics and some facts. So when we think about people dying by suicide, just take a moment and think about what comes to mind or who comes to mind. Okay. So hold on to that and then listen to these statistics. So people who die by suicide are athletes, professional athletes, men and women. People who die by suicide are mothers, mothers of small children, mothers of teenagers. People who die by suicide are fathers, heads of households, Christian heads of households. Okay. People who die by suicide are priests, men and women of the cloth. Okay. Think about that one for a minute. People who die by suicide are psychologists, therapists, helping professionals. People who die by suicide are aging adults. Okay. People who die by suicide are first responders, policemen, firemen. Okay. There's numbers supporting those stats, but I didn't want to give out numbers because people always give out numbers. And oftentimes that doesn't mean anything.
Hmm.
But when you
Hmm.
hear a mother has died by suicide, that hits. That hits a little bit different than percentages. So I kind of wanted to talk about that and kind of bring that to the forefront. Just recently in the NFL, a player died by suicide. And, we're seeing more and more NFLs and professional athletes dying by suicide. So it is a real problem. It's a real problem. So again, I'm just glad that we're talking about it today, especially around the holidays, because again, you've lost your loved one. Um, you want to be with your loved one, you might have suffered a very traumatic loss. And so the holidays are supposed to be happy. We're all supposed to wear masks, and it can bring about happiness, and it does,
Hmm.
until it doesn't.
Yes.
Okay. So I
Yes.
really want us to really, really think about that, especially around the holidays. And so I'm glad that you asked about what to look for. You had a question, another question, Deb?
I did, and it was around our senior adults around about this time
Mm,
of the year.
okay.
Seniors, and especially those that are older, like 90 years old, 91,
Mm,
92 years old. And even those who have terminal illnesses and then don't want, this is different, but they don't want their family to continue to take care of them. And so that's
mhm.
also a red flag. So even if you
Okay.
don't know anyone around this time that's in a nursing home or anything like that,
Yeah.
this is always a good time. All through the year is a good time, but especially at this point, those
Yeah.
seniors need someone to just talk with them.
To check in on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, because there's a lot of loss in that community, widows and widowers, and like you said, people with
Mhm.
chronic illnesses, that can be devastating. So that's a really good point. I'm
Exactly.
glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
it's very important. It is very important that we know about it.
Mhm.
Right.
So I
Mhm.
told you
Mhm.
she's a wealth of information, a wealth of knowledge. So
Oh,
let's do a commercial real quick in here. If someone wanted to talk with you, how would they
oh,
get in
sure.
touch with you? And we'll also make sure we put it in the show notes so they can do that
Oh,
as well. And then we have some other questions for you.
okay. Okay. Absolutely. So if someone wanted to talk to me, they could visit my website, which is www.ptaylorconsulting.com. That's all one word. Or they could call my office, and that number is 262-207-4130. If they wanted to, get some content, I'm on, what am I on? Instagram at P Taylor Consulting. And I think TikTok too at P Taylor Consulting. So there's numerous ways that people can contact me. Aside from doing the counseling, I also do mental health seminars to bring awareness to mental health topics again, because my fight in this game is to eliminate the stigma with mental health and mental illness and suicide and things like that. So talking about it and answering people's questions and educating people on things, um all things suicide and mental health and wellness, that's something that I do as well, so they can contact me through those channels for that as well.
And your the health fest, mental health fest is
Yes.
going to be in May this year. So as soon
Yes.
as you
Yeah.
get that information, as soon as you have those dates set, please let us know so that we can inform
Absolutely.
individuals
Yeah.
and make sure it is standing room only when people come in to get the information.
Yes. Yes.
It should be. I
we're,
just
we're
wanted
looking
to,
for volunteers, so if anybody wants to help volunteer, we're open to that too.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be there.
So
So,
you had some other
Yeah.
I,
things?
I just wanted to, a couple of things. I'm going to put your information in the description on for this podcast, and
Okay.
but so what are some things that people can take away today to
Mhm.
ease if they're suffering or their loved ones suffering, or maybe even if they decide they want to go and comfort some people in, say, a nearby nursing home or something like that? Those
Yeah, yeah.
possibilities.
So you could reach out to your local, and Deb would have more information on this. The local chamber on aging, and
Mhm.
find out what resources they have. Find out if there's opportunities to go to communities with our aging adults, to sit with them, to read with them, to pray with them. If you have people in your family who are aging adults, or you see them suffering, pull them aside, pray with them, give them a hug, ask them how they're doing. So those are some practical things that you can do if you see your loved ones suffering. I also wanted to also hit on, what if you're suffering? What if you're suffering, and what if you're going through some things? We can't take care of others if we ourselves aren't being taken care of.
Absolutely.
For
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
so that's important to hit on that too. So I just have a few tools and tips for if someone who's struggling with depression during the holidays, because again, the seasons are changing. There's seasonal affective disorder, or seasonal affective depression.
Mhm.
um Again, memories of loved ones, expectations around the holidays. So those are some things that can trigger a depressive
Definitely.
episode.
Yeah,
And, some
yeah.
things we talk about there is obviously therapy, mental health therapy, talking to someone, a mental health coach, or a mind body wellness
Yeah.
coach, a wellness
Mhm,
coach.
mhm.
Some medications, you would need to talk to your primary care physician or your psychiatrist about medications to help increase the dopamine in your brain when it's depleted from depression. But some other really practical things, looking at a funny TV show or stand up comedy show, just
Yeah,
to incite laughter. I know you ladies talked about that not too long ago. Just laughing helps you feel better just for the
Yeah.
moment. That helps you
Yeah. It
feel
releases
better.
that
Um,
dopamine. Mhm.
Reflections or meditations, a daily meditation, routines. I can't speak enough about routines. Oftentimes, when we're depressed, we don't feel like doing things, but a small routine, just one or two things per day that can help you feel useful, and it can help you, decrease your symptoms of depression,
Yeah.
especially around the holidays. So, those are a few things about depressive symptoms. And stress. So, stress. A depressed person isn't necessarily stressed, they could be just depressed. And a
mhm.
stressed person isn't necessarily depressed, they could be just stressed.
Mhm.
But we know that the definition of stress is extreme mental strain, especially during times of transition, or a big event,
Yes.
i.e. the
Yeah.
holidays.
Yes.
i.e.
Uh-huh.
the hol- There's a lot of talk about managing stress. Deep breathing, and Kim, you can talk about all those beautiful mind body wellness tools, connecting to nature, getting outside and getting fresh air, taking a break, you know throughout the holiday, throughout the dinner, if you're feeling overwhelming stress with family members or all the
Mhm.
expectations, just take a break. Say, excuse me, I need to take a break, I need to take
That's right.
5 minutes.
Yes.
um,
Yes.
That's right.
Boundaries are really, really important. I like
Mhm.
boundaries because they don't even, they help manage the stress, but they can absolutely take the stress away. So we do talk a lot
Mhm.
about management, but I think it's important to get rid of the stress. What do you ladies think about that?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get
Uh,
rid of everything,
it
but when you
right.
put boundaries in place, then
Yeah.
that kind of
It
mitigates,
can
that kind of,
exactly
erases the stress.
minimizes it.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
again, just like you said, sometimes you gotta step out of it, step away from it
Mhm.
so that
Yeah.
you could get yourself together and think
Yeah.
clearly and identify.
Absolutely.
In
Yeah.
doing that, I know I say this like I probably sound like a broken record, but breathe.
Yeah.
Take that slow, deep inhalation and hold on
Yes.
to it and slowly you cannot function under stress. So, but when when you stop and breathe,
Yes.
you just have an opportunity to now focus on whatever it was, whatever it is. And
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
Patricia said, you gotta take a break,
Mhm.
put
You have
those
to take a break.
boundaries in place.
Yeah.
Put those
And Kim,
boundaries
you
in
had
place.
talked a little bit, you had mentioned something about breathing, and I thought it was very appropriate. You said, you take a deep breath in through your nose, and when you open your mouth and let that breath out, that's a different type of release versus when you breathe through your nose and exhale through your nose. Those are um, two different types of healing.
Mhm.
I
Right,
think you
right.
mentioned
When
breathing
you're
out your mouth is
exhaling,
a
yeah,
hmm
when you're exhaling out of your mouth, you're just releasing the emotion, the feelings. When you're
hmm
exhaling through your nostrils, you are actually relaxing your nervous system. You're
hmm
telling your body everything is okay,
Yeah, yeah,
and it
and we
really
all know
it's
that the body
calming.
keeps the score. The body keeps
Absolutely.
the score. Tells you everything you need to
Absolutely.
know. Yeah.
So we need
Absolutely.
to listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yes,
the
yes.
the other thing that I want to commend you on is the fact that you're bringing awareness to this. The fact that a lot of people don't wa they know that they have something going on, or they don't even realize they have something going on, but they don't wanna talk to anybody because I don't wanna tell anybody my business, or somebody might
Mhm.
find out that I'm talking to someone. And how do we remove that? How do we encourage
Remove the
people?
stigma. That's
Yeah,
what she's
remove
doing.
that, and that's what you're doing, you talk
But
to
Yeah.
speak to
us.
that.
Yeah, it's how do
Yeah.
we encourage
Mhm. Mhm.
encourage it more to
Yeah,
individuals?
encourage yeah, for people to feel more comfortable talking about their struggles. Where I've seen a lot of things. I mentioned football. As you can tell, I'm a football fan. Go Pack Go.
Got it.
But what I did notice on this last football game, there were commercials about um, suicide and mental health. And you don't often see that
I
on
noticed that
TV,
too.
let alone a professional, organization talking about
Right,
it. So,
right.
Yeah.
um, I think feeling comfortable bringing it up in spaces that it's normally not talked about. Now, I know when I sign on to the Kim and Deb show, I know we're going to be talking about some mind body wellness and healing and things like that. But if I'm scrolling on Instagram, or if I'm, in the boardroom, or if I'm taking a break from work
Well,
at lunch with my friends, we may not talk about it there. So, try and find opportunities to maybe not express how you're feeling, but, just bring something up when it's
and
normally not a place where you bring it up. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah.
like,
Um,
for example, you were talking about these people, the athlete who died by suicide. And
yeah.
that's a top, bring it up, and just maybe ask, how do you feel about that? What do you think about that?
Mhm,
Yes,
And
mhm.
just
yes.
kind of open up the conversation. Or if it's someone, it's hard when it's somebody that you know, but if
Mhm,
that is a possibility, I mean, if you feel comfortable talking about it,
mhm.
what could I, it's not so much what we could have done, but what we can
Yeah.
do in the future
Mhm.
with,
Mhm,
being
mhm.
more sensitive to, but talking about it is the key. We need to be able to
Talking about it
talk
with the
about
key.
how we're feeling, what we're struggling with
Mhm, mhm.
people who
Yeah,
can help us,
Yeah,
whether
and
that's
yeah, yeah,
a therapist,
yeah.
or a
Mhm.
trusted friend, someone who
Yeah.
is not going to use it against us,
Mhm.
because that's, I think, a lot
Yeah,
of the fear of people, is that it's going to be used against them somehow. And so we want
absolutely.
to create safe spaces for people to be able to talk.
Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
absolutely. I
And I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, especially in spaces where, say if you're law enforcement or
Yes,
first
first
responder, there's a huge stigma there because if I'm suffering, internally or with depression or trauma, then I won't be able to do my job. And so a lot of times they don't bring it up. I
Mhm.
do have a few first responders in my sessions that I see, and I'm very grateful and thankful that they come. Teachers are another set of professionals who are
Mhm.
overly stressed. I think the school system, I think what I've seen is that they've done a lot better with supporting teachers, but they could, we could do more. We could do
There's
more.
always
Yeah,
room
Setting
for
room
those
for growth,
improvement.
routines.
improvement.
Mhm.
Yeah, and setting routines around talking about mental health and wellness at the start of a team meeting. It's a
Yeah.
policy I have, and here's some language. It's a policy I have that I won't start a meeting without taking a deep breath. It's a policy I have that I won't start a meeting without checking in with my team or my members. It's a policy I have that, we won't start dinner until we check in with one another.
Mm.
Okay. So just setting routines for it to
Those
be
are
normal,
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
setting routines for it to be normalized. Yeah, that's
And
a
and
really great
and
question.
it is. It is, especially since everybody's going off in different directions. Always.
Hmm. Yes.
Everybody, if you
Yeah.
just take one day or 5 minutes or something
Hmm.
and do that,
Hmm.
that definitely
Yeah.
helps a lot.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
insert this. When somebody comes to our minds, when somebody just kind of pops into your mind, take the time to reach out to them because you don't know why they
Mm,
popped into your mind. There's probably a reason. I know
yeah.
that, and that has happened to me years and years. I've been doing that. They pop into my mind. I reach out and they always say, "Man, you know just the time." No, I didn't know just the time. It was divine
Divine
guidance
intervention.
Yeah.
there. But that's
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 That's good. That is good. Connection. Yeah. Connection is key. Yep.
But
Hmm.
it
Oh,
is. Well,
yep.
okay, let me ask this question real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
I
You're
like this
helping every
dialogue. I
Yeah,
love this.
you're helping everyone with identifying their stressors. What do you
Mhm.
do to identify your stressors and relieve some of the pressure that you go through on a daily basis?
Yeah. That's a really, really great question because as helpers, we help others. But again, we can still help others when we're stressed, but it won't be our best. It won't be our best. So there's a lot of things that I do. So I get outside, I go hiking, I walk with a group of women. It's called Black Girls Run.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so Black Girls Run and Girl Trek. So those are two African American walking and running groups. So that helps relieve stress.
Hmm.
Meditation. I have a routine for meditation in the morning. There's a meditative book that I read. It's based on spirituality for women, and so I insert that, every morning. On my smart TV, the kids laugh at me about this, but on the smart TV, there's a meditation app. So, I need to pause your show because I need to sit and meditate. And I'm going to turn it up on the loudspeakers, the surround sound, so everybody can hear the guided meditation.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm really fortunate that a lot of my friends are helpers. And so we have group texts and we chat about our stress. So I kind of have my own, group there. I do have a mental health therapist myself. I speak to my clergy, I speak to my pastor when I'm stressed out. Um, yeah, so those are some of the things that I do because I do recognize, and you ask when do you recognize it? Well, the body tells me.
Uh-huh.
Around this time of the year, there's some significant things that have happened to me and to my family and in my environment around this time of year. So the body is just like knocking like, okay, you feel that symptom withdrawal, you're feeling tired, and it's not just from your routine at work, it's an extra exhaustion. So it's time to kind of look at that and implement some of the tools. So the body keeps the
Excellent.
score and I listen. Just like Kim said, I listen. I
Excellent.
listen.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That
So
is
those,
awesome.
yeah.
Because
Good
that
to hear that.
really, I mean, because it is when you're taking on all the issues of other people. That's a heavy burden sometimes to carry. And again, I thank you for sharing how you lift some of that off of you.
There'll be a
It's
lot of people
Thank
that'll be
you.
able
yeah,
to
You're very
relate to that.
welcome.
that will be very, very, very beneficial. Um,
Yeah.
I don't want to stop talking. I think this is a very open dialogue, and we have so many more questions. So that means that you have to come back. But I know that you're
I would
busy.
love to come back.
Oh,
I would love
you
to.
know, and I think well, around the time that you're going to do your mental health fest, we should definitely have you back again. But again, so that we could promote it and have more people come out. But if there's any other topic that you'd like for us to talk about and get the information out to people, we want to do that as well.
Absolutely.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
do you have any
Definitely.
closing remarks or thoughts for us before we let you go? Not that we really
I could
want to let you go, but
I know. I could continue talking too. I love this topic, but I did want to share a few resources with people if that's okay.
Oh,
So
Please.
perfect. Please.
I myself don't do this as much as I know I should, but reading is a really good tool to help relieve stress. And so this is a little, I think just a little journal that I wrote, and it's called The Little Book of Affirmations Claim Your Narrative Over Trauma. So there's just a few
Mm,
quotes in here about trauma. And then there's also some lines at the back for personal affirmations. So writing things down, talking and writing things down is really key. And you can
yes.
find that on my website. I think my assistant put it on the website.
Okay, I
Um,
was going to
this
ask if
is
there's a
another
link, but
book.
I'll look on your website.
Okay. This is another book I would highly recommend. So this was written by a teacher who's also an author. This book is like a love letter to students. There's poetry in there.
Mm,
There's sensitive language around teenage mental health, parenting issues, bullying issues. So this is a really good
mm,
gift for a teenager. And we were talking about financial stress around the holidays. Books are
Yeah.
really good, they're
and what's the
kind of
title?
inexpensive gift to give.
What's the
It's a really
title of the book? Excuse me.
oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
The
It's
What's
title
the
called
of it.
title of the book?
Yep,
Since
Sincerely Yours,
Yours.
Mrs. Taylor Wash.
oh,
Oh,
that's
Inspirational
excellent.
poetry.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
see it better now. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's a few more. So this one right here, this deals with grief. So this
Oh,
particular author lost her mom, her dad, 3 or 4 siblings, a few
wow.
close friends in a very short span of time.
Mm,
wow.
Um,
Uh-huh.
mm,
so she found her healing in writing this book. And I would
mm,
recommend this book to anyone who's dealing with grief. This one it's called Erased: Understanding the Link Between Life and Death.
mm,
Oh, wow.
mm.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
And I'll put
Definitely.
links on these. I'll put links on my website. And then just one more. Just one more.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I absolutely love this one. This one is called Why Am I So Angry? Um,
Oh, for
so Deb, you mentioned
youngsters.
about yes, so you
Yeah.
mentioned about little children and their emotions. When they're grieving the loss of a parent or a friend, they don't know how to express that. The
Mm-hmm.
easiest way for them to express it oftentimes is anger.
Anger.
So this book
Mm-hmm.
talks about how to manage anger in younger
Mm,
children. This book was written by a mental health therapist, and I think
mm.
it's taken from some of her personal experiences.
Mm.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so
So,
much for
Oh,
sharing
you're
those.
welcome. You're welcome. So, yeah, so that's kind of my final words, and I just really thank you, and I really feel blessed for being here amongst you ladies today.
we are
We're honored to
blessed for
have you.
knowing you,
Hmm.
for definitely knowing
And
you.
I'll put those links in the copy.
And thank you so much
Okay.
for pouring out to us.
You're welcome.
You know,
You're
even though we say it to each other and stuff like that, you confirm what we're talking about. So
love
thank
it.
you.
Love it.
And at every chance that I get, I let people know about you,
Thank you for
Patricia.
all the
Yeah.
people that you're healing,
Thank
helping to
you.
heal.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Bless you.
yes, yes. So thank you.
Oh, we do
Okay.
want we're
Oh,
so
Very well.
oh, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
next week we're going to be having another guest about healing touch. Miss Doreen Connor. I can't believe I'm not. Yeah,
Her
I'm pretty
name went
sure.
right out.
Yes,
That's
I believe that's
that
right.
mental pause.
Your mental pause. But we look forward to hearing from you.
Okay.
Thank you for
All right.
joining us. We're
Oh, you're
we're
very
closing out
welcome.
here.
Yeah, thank you
Okay.
so
Thank
much.
you for
All right.
joining us. I know you have to get to your client, and we're going to close
Yes.
out the episode.
Yes,
Bless
yes.
you.
Okay.
Bless you
Okay.
so much.
Take care.
Okay.
Oh,
Bye-bye,
and don't
ladies.
forget
Uh-huh.
to subscribe, like, and comment because we love hearing from you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Patricia. Enjoy the
You're
day.
welcome. You
Yes.
too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Looking for the. Oh, there it is.
There it is.